May 20th, Pine Ridge Fire Station. Tim stood on the sidewalk, nervously glancing up the street and watching for Nancy to return, while he and some of the older children kept an eye on the youngest of their group. He had always been the family babysitter, and he liked little kids, but he usually only had to entertain 3 or 4 at a time, and only for a few hours. He started to wonder how teachers did it all day long, every day. He thought to put a reminder in his career search never to be a teacher. A few of the children were kicking around a ball they had found in the firehouse. Others were jumping rope, and some, mostly the girls, were just sitting on the grass and talking. It was a good thing it was a nice day. The sun was warm and the grass was dry. He looked down the road repeatedly. Mrs. Jackson had been gone a long time. She said she would not leave him by choice. How would he know if something happened to her? What the hell will I do if she doesn't come back? Please come back. When Mrs. Jackson finally walked out of the yard down the street, Tim fervently wanted to discuss what they would do about a what-if situation. Tim watched her walk back up the street, but now she carried something in her arms. Tim felt a cold chill go up his spine. She had a baby. He had not thought past the children in his care. What if this was not just a local thing? What about all the other little kids out there? Oh shit! What if this was nationwide? What if this was worldwide? What if he and Mrs. Jackson were the only 2 adults still able to take care of all these kids? What if? He looked at the kids on the front lawn of the fire station and realized they would have to feed them supper and breakfast. Tim felt another wave of panic start to set in. This was not just going to be a few hours of babysitting, get paid, and go home. What the hell was this? Tim felt his chest tighten, and he started to feel nauseous as panic set in. Nancy kept walking toward Tim and saw him looking at the baby in her arms. The boy looked upset. What has happened now? Tim, are you all right? She asked as she came close enough for him to hear her. Everyone's frozen, aren't they? Tim whispered in a shaky voice. Nancy nodded and looked at the baby. It looks like it. Every house I went into, anyone who was home was frozen. I heard this baby crying and I had to check it out. Her mother was apparently getting ready to feed her when, whatever this is, happened. Nancy paused. So I fed her and changed her diaper. That's what took me so long. I'm sorry to have worried you. Tim, we have to make plans about what we will do with these children for at least a few days. Tim looked at her and said, Mrs. Jackson, what about my family? He looked at her with dread. He did not want to believe this had happened to his parents too. Nancy knew she'd have to let him go check on his family. If she was to have his total commitment to the situation, he had to have that closure. First, Tim, my name is Nancy. You and I are the only adults here. I'll have to lean on you as an adult to help me take care of these children. Nancy sighed. As much as I don't want to put this responsibility on you, we just don't have a choice. She paused, watching his face as he registered the enormity of their dilemma. Where is your home, Tim? She asked. Tim looked at the ground and nodded toward the opposite end of the street. My house is a couple of blocks that way, he indicated, toward the neighborhood Nancy had just returned from, where she had found the baby. I can get there in a few minutes and be back to let you know what I find. Nancy nodded. Try to return quickly, please, she said. But before Tim could walk away, they heard one of the boys yell, Hey, look! It's 2 guys riding horses.